Boom, baby. We're live. What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Tokyo Crypto Show, episode 23, featuring the man, the myth, the legend himself, Charlie from Cultivate Crypto. Charlie, how you doing today?
Doing pretty good. It's hot as hell out there, but besides that, it's all good.
Another day to be alive. We have been watching, waiting, and seeing what the fuck is going on with Bitcoin. Things looking good, though. Things are looking real good.
Oh, well.
Things looking real good.
Yeah, I think it's kind of moving at a snail's pace by Bitcoin standards, right? So the price has been going up here by about $400 over the last couple of days. But, for people who have been used to this, new bull market, basically, they've been kind of bored by this,
Right.
It's like, okay, I have one Bitcoin or, whatever you put into it. And, let's say you put in one whole Bitcoin and it goes up $400. You should be happy if that happens in a couple of days. It's free money, right?
Yep.
But how does crypto Twitter and, the crypto sphere act in general? Just kind of like, meh, it's okay.
Well, the normies are out here norming, as I always say, and they're norming at an alarming rate. So,
well, my kind of theory with people's apathy when it comes to large price moves in Bitcoin is a lot of the people who are paying attention to it either don't understand it or this is the only thing they're watching. So they don't know what to compare it to. So especially young people where if they have never done stocks before or never done any type of other asset trading, when they look at Bitcoin, they're just like, oh, that's the way it's supposed to be. I'm supposed to get a 3 times, return in the matter of a couple of months, right?
Yeah, ideally, right?
People just get like, I don't know what you want to call it, but just, just complacent because, oh, this is what's supposed to happen.
That's why they're lazy and broke. You got it. DYOR. Do your own research. Like, you do not just sit here blindly accepting our advice on whatever the fuck we're talking about. Like, do your own thing, make your own plays. Cody here recently. Cody's in the chat. Forgive me, guys. I'm setting up the Instagram feed live. But yeah, Cody here. Dear Lord, this guy is making some serious crypto gains. And honestly, it's straight the fuck up. Like he did a really good job with his trades. And it's all because he sat here, he listened to us, and then also, when he listened to us, he fucking took action. Was a risk involved? Sure. Risk involved in everything.
Yeah, you can't win. You can't do anything. Like, okay, if you're not going to have any risk, I'm not going to go out of the house today because it's too hot. I might sweat or whatever. There's risk in fucking everything. You could get hit by a car trying to cross the goddamn street.
Yes, exactly.
So,
when we talk about Bitcoin, when we talk about cryptocurrency, we talk about making money, you're not going to come in here right out the door and just start making tons of money. Like, it's going to take time. These things take time. And
you know how long the stock market takes to make money? Literally years to decades.
Yeah. Tell me about it.
But so crypto, it does take time, but at the same time, you get returns faster than any other market simply because of the volatility.
Oh, Joe's mad is taking notes. Thank you very much. Do you know actually this Joe guy works for a cryptocurrency company?
Oh, interesting. I'd like to know which one.
Wax or something.
Oh, I know that one. Yeah, they make skins and virtual items within games.
Yeah, sounds terrible.
Actually, gaming is one of the aspects of cryptocurrency which may get adopted earlier. So a lot of the companies, like for example, Binance is really good because it's with an exchange.
Right.
And exchanges are, like a necessary part of the infrastructure.
Right.
So betting on something that is one of the biggest parts of how people trade is like a no-brainer, right? So
right.
Investing in something related to Binance is like a no-brainer, like you say.
Right.
The gaming industry tends to adopt things quicker, new technologies quicker than other industries that work through the internet. So, it sounds ridiculous, trading and swapping skins, but people are already doing that, right?
Right. Yeah.
So it is a big industry. So if some crypto company can actually leverage that, the idea is, so let's say you play game A, I play game B. you want to take whatever you earned, like some shield or sword or machine gun or whatever, over to my game, and then come, destroy that world or whatever the game is. If you paid for it on one game, then it'll be transferable between, like, in certain types of ecosystems.
Mm-hmm.
And so then you can actually earn some of those cryptocurrencies as well by, making different things within the game and selling them. So the idea is interesting enough, but I don't think they're making much yet in terms of it's not actually being adopted by gaming companies.
No, I don't know. I don't know enough about the coin to mention about what it's gonna do, what it's not gonna do. But I will say that smells like a shit coin.
Well, it is a shit coin. It's like what, 90 in the top, like it's in the top 100, I believe, right now, but it's up there in like the 75 plus, so 75 to 100. So the one thing which is interesting about Wax is that when it first came out, it was getting pumped by Mike Novogratz, who's like a big macro trader from Wall Street.
Oh, I know. That guy's the man.
Yeah, he's smart. And so he was pumping it. He's just pumping it to pumping because I'm sure he bought a bunch on the ICO and he's like, pump this, I'm going to sell it right away.
Yeah.
But so that's what he did, I'm sure. But he was pumping it up. And then as soon as the bull market ended, like, oh man, all of those things just went down the tank. Yeah. Not all of them, but Wax especially did. But it's actually been able to stay in the top 100, whereas a lot of those ones at that time went down to like 300, 400, some crazy numbers. So it has some viability, but I don't look into it that much because it's not in the top 50.
Well, we'll see what happens. That's for sure. And just so you guys know, the guys who are listening and who are in body language mastery, keep in mind we got today. It is the last day of webinars. Then I can actually sleep
on a regular schedule.
On a regular schedule. Yeah. So after this show, webinars could be up, and Charlie might join us, and then we'll wait for Richard Cooper. He should be in here any moment now. He's got the link. So we're doing through Google Hangouts. So do be sure. Actually, I think I could do. Yeah, there we go. So just so you guys know, Charlie does have a website, and the website is right here.
I think you can do application window even.
cultivatecrypto.com. Don't just buy Cultivate. He's got us to do products and services. Come check him out. Direct contact with him. He's got consultations, and he's got Telegram. He's got a private Telegram chat showing you how to get exactly where he is in regards to cryptocurrency competency. You go to cultivatecrypto.com/shop. Click on one of these things here. It'll direct you. Like, so let's say if you get the platinum program, it's basically like buying 4 consultations plus unlimited access to him.
And each consultation is $75 to begin with anyway. So 75 times 4 is 300. So it's basically you get 4 consultations to supplement basically getting a free reading of all the charts that I do on a daily basis.
You can get yourself in there. So go check him out, cultivatecrypto.com/shop. Check out his programs here.
Yeah, and the reason why I brought that out is because I've been getting a lot of guys who are just saying like, hey, how come, like Cultivate Crypto or Charlie or whatever they want to call me, they're like, hey, can we see your charts? Can we see your charts? And it's like, hey, I make money with my charts, but, sharing them for free online, it takes a lot of work to make them, right? So a lot of people are like, yeah, it's cool. Like, I'm definitely willing to put down some money for that. And so I was like, okay, yeah, let's start it. And this way we can really get a lot of people in and see, what's happening with, how to actually cultivate your crypto. Because on my show, I keep it general and I do talk about, Bitcoin every day, but I don't say, hey, this is the time to exactly buy, or hey, this is the time to exactly sell, or this is how much I'm putting risk onto this particular trade, and here's my stop loss. I'm not giving all of those details. So through the Telegram channel, that's where you can get all the nitty gritty and make money.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. If you want to learn from the best, got to pay up, motherfuckers. But honestly, you're not going to appreciate the free value if it was there. Curious to see Rich Cooper's take on crypto. Rich is going to be here any minute now. He's wrapping up his consultation. He's doing his little 15-minute consultation right now. But he's going to come on in And we got the line is open. We are just waiting for him to pop in. But let's see what's up to everybody in the chat in the meantime, huh? How's everybody doing today? We're having a good day. I ate a pound of steak for lunch today. I gotta say, it's pretty amazing. Alec Checkerfield, what's up? Says first motherfuckers. Tony S says morning men. Early to BTC class for once. Also, wow, didn't expect Rich to be the mystery guest. Awesome. Good morning, John, Richard, and everyone else, says Eric. Brenton says good morning, everyone. Peter says this will be legendary. Elijah Cohen, my man, says good morning. Moon Gang, Santiago Ponce, Corkrum says Moon fucking gang, boy. That's right. Audio good. Yes, yes. Cody, what's up? Muhammad, what's up? Was just listening to a podcast where a guy bought armor in some game for 150 Bitcoin in 2011.
Let me do the math on that one. That's going to be a doozy.
That's like 1.5 million almost, right?
Yeah.
Good Lord.
That's exactly. Yeah.
1.5 million in the house. King Nick, what's up?
It's got to be some good armor.
That armor better be amazing. Big Googs is in the house. Says, what's up, killers? What's up, Googs? I'm curious to see Rich Cooper's take on crypto. What else does he say? Mr. Jackson, what's up? Christopher Wilson, what's up? Aaron Wolf, what's up? Glad to see a lack of golden arches. Yes.
That was a good one last week. We're having a good day, so you can do that once in a while.
Oh God, I don't remember. Yeah. That was a wonderful time. He also lost 1,000 BTC in Gox. Wow, bad luck.
Wow.
Bad luck for that guy. So yeah, we're waiting for Richard to show up. What's up, Edgar? Yeah, so but we're just gonna talk a little bit like what's going on. So you guys, like, here's the thing. If you've been following us since Words by Ken, what's up? Is that the man? I feel like somebody's here. What's up, Richard?
What's up, Tokyo Crypto?
How you guys doing today over there in Canada?
Yeah.
Doing
it's
okay?
cold, hot, Canada.
Good stuff.
So
not coming through on this one.
Okay.
You can't hear me on the second one?
No, I can hear you. Charlie can't hear you.
Charlie, okay.
Oh, okay, hold on one second.
No, I can hear him.
How you doing?
Good.
Can you hear me loud and clear? Awesome.
I can hear you.
Nice to meet you, Charlie.
Perfect.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
All right, so
man.
I just kind of wanted to hang out as a fly on the wall on this one, maybe like chime in a little bit, but I want to hear what's going on in the world of crypto. John said you guys are doing the show often, so fill me in, guys. What's shaking and baking?
Well, actually, Charlie wanted to interview you and kind of see what you knew, and then kind of plug the holes in regards to where you might need to be filled in on. So, Charlie, why don't you take the reins here?
Yeah, and I can also let them know about what's happening in the world of crypto as well. But the one thing I did notice was on Rich's YouTube, he has a small bit in the description area where you can actually tip him in Bitcoin. And so I was just kind of curious, what made you want to get into Bitcoin, or how much are you into it, or what's your knowledge of it?
My strategy is really to put no more than about 5% of my wealth in it right now, max 10. I see a big future for it. I know there's a need for it. Fiat currency is garbage, devalues over time. It's centrally controlled. They can print as much of it as they want. You've already heard all the lyrics. It's probably what drove you into the business yourself. It's just,
for sure.
I've got the awareness that I think that fiat's coming to its end, like it's reached the end of its useful life cycle. But by the same token, I see that there's going to be a lot of resistance from central banks and government allowing any kind of crypto to take a foothold and be decentralized. I think that Bitcoin's gone pretty far, though, and I like it as a form of currency. I like it as a store of value. I don't know. Does that sound about right, or do I sound like a Muppet when I'm talking?
No, that's pretty. We're not even kissing your ass. Trust me, we're waiting to shit on you. But no, that's sound.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask. I got a personal question. What do you think about the Federal Reserve? What are your thoughts? Because you're in the financial sector yourself.
So I built up a credit card debt relief business over the last 17, 18 years. I was involved in credit collections for 10 years prior to that. centralized money is not good. It's,
Yeah.
you know, asking permission to get your money from your bank, or being declined access to your money, or any of those things. You know, a lot of guys talk about being your own mental point of origin, and even these MGTOW guys, you know, claim to be going their own way. If you really want to, you know, detach from anybody having any kind of power over you, I think that every guy needs to move into an area where they use some form of decentralized currency, like a Bitcoin, you know, for example, to do transactions, store their value, have access to it, move it around, whatever.
Right.
Exactly. And I think that's, you know, Cody, who's been in our chat for a while. He's a guy who's basically, you know, he has a military background, and, you know, he's even said like, oh, he went out, you know, and got some armor and stuff like that, you know, so he's ready for, you know, when the government collapses. But, you know, it's just one of those things where it's like, what I've been looking at is like, what's the possibility of, you know, like a potential recession again, or anything that's negative. And for me, Bitcoin is just a hedge against inflation. Like you said, the Fed just keeps building up debt, keeps printing money. It just keeps going in this never-ending cycle, which is only getting worse and worse. So the ability to just, you know, rely on the government is kind of a fool's errand, in my opinion.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a like hope is a very bad plan when it comes to relying on the government for anything. They're utterly useless. I mean, all they really care about is getting votes in to continue their reign of power. They don't care about you. People like to think that they care about you. They like to think that voting for stupid policies that make them feel warm and fuzzy and rainbows and butterflies and unicorn will work. But in my estimation, you got to take control of your own life.
Definitely.
Oh, for sure.
Rich, if you could hit the retweet too, so you bring your guys in from Twitter. I just tagged you. But
yeah, I'm gonna grab it. Hold on.
Also, let me ask you this. So in regards to cryptocurrency, just tell me what you think. What are your ones that you believe are good buys, in your opinion? What do you think?
Well, define buy, like for what purpose?
Well, just to increase your financial, like, increase your financial gains. Like, you know, obviously we're huge Bitcoin advocates on this show. But what are like your ones that you feel basically safe buying?
Not many really. I mean, there's like what, 3,000 on Coin Market Cap. It's probably like Bitcoin, definitely. I've got some Litecoin as well, and Ethereum. That's really about it. I mean, like Ether's, you know, supposed to be good for smart contracts, which we really haven't seen any real world use for yet.
Right.
Litecoin's really just, you know, just about as useful as Bitcoin. It's just faster to transact, from what I understand. But it's got the same components hardwired into it. But I think like the big win really is Bitcoin. I mean, if you're going to put money into anything that's crypto based, it should be Bitcoin. Like, there's a lot of guys that'll push these tokens and stuff. I got this new token. It's got a new use case for this, that, and the other thing. And most of them are just manufactured, man. It's just like there is never going to be worldwide adoption for 99.999% of these tokens, probably.
Yeah, it's exactly like, you know, the web back in the 90s. You get all these websites popping up. You know, I think at the time, like the search engine that I was using was like Web Crawler, which is no longer in existence, and, you know, Ask Jeeves and those types of things. So yeah, definitely when you have that kind of innovation, you're going to get a lot of duds, right? And you kind of have to go through a lot of that pain, in my opinion, you know, before the winners come out. And whether Bitcoin is the winner in the end was still yet to be seen. But like you said, it's shown that it's very robust. It's been attacked a million times and it's still standing.
Yeah, I think it's funny that right now, like, you know, before you came up, we were talking about how our audience has kind of been spoiled because our business strategy to start this was, we're going to start it when the price of Bitcoin was pretty low. It was pretty shit at the time. It was like 3,000. It was like 3,500. But we're like, listen, this is the year that it's going to break out. And we called it, and we're like, listen, now is the fucking time to buy. And what happens? It hits 10,000, it hits 13,000, and then we're flooded with requests like, "Hey, why didn't you tell us? Hey, what's going on?" Like in your expertise, like in your real life, when you talk to somebody about Bitcoin in real life, do they look at you like you're crazy? Do they like, oh,
mostly, yeah. Yeah, mostly they look at you like you're batshit crazy. They don't get it, and I get that they don't get it because the masses are pretty stupid, right? I mean, there's still people out there that don't even know how to use a debit card or to transact with something on a smartphone, right? So like scan in a a code to access an electric scooter or something would be too complicated for the for the masses. So it really, like, it needs to be easier for the masses to use, and it hasn't gotten to that point yet. So I know there's a lot of developers working on it. It'll probably get there at some point in my lifetime, I'm sure, where we'll get to mass adoption. It's just, I don't see it happening in the next couple of years anyway.
Yeah, and that's why I think right now the biggest use case for cryptocurrency is basically speculation. It's just a huge area where you can trade, and people generally don't want to hear that, especially people who are really into crypto. They're like, no, all these use cases about self-sovereignty and stuff, which is true. But like you said, yeah, if it's not completely usable, I think right now what you got is a problem of people want and can see where this technology can be used, but the actual application of that is lagging far behind. So basically in my channel, what I usually say is there's 4 ways to get crypto or Bitcoin or whichever type that you want. But basically the first way is to mine it, which now mining is basically industrialized for Bitcoin. So it's pretty difficult to be able to purchase enough mining power and electricity to actually make a profit with that. The second way is just to buy it and hold it, which is pretty safe because the price generally goes up. The third way is then trading, which is right now really what's happening with all of these assets, is they're trying to find their true value. And if a lot of them, if they don't have a product or service, if they just have a token that says, oh, we'll give you a product or service in the future, then that's a big red flag, right? But for Bitcoin in particular, it actually has a lot of use cases, a lot of functionality, has the marketing as well. And so then you can actually, be more safe in that type of asset. But then the fourth way, after we do get past the speculation aspect of it over the next, maybe 3 to 10 years, depending on how long it takes to build out this technology, both on a financial level with, NASDAQ companies related to the NASDAQ getting into it, but then also on a technological level with all the development and people being able to understand it and use it without having to think too much. That will definitely take quite a while. So, but once that does happen, then the only way that you'll ever be able to get it is to earn it. So I think, going ahead of the curve and understanding what it is now will put you ahead of 99.9% of the population, because literally there's only 30 to 60 million people actively using cryptocurrency right now. And a lot of these politicians who are grilling it over the last couple of months have been actually providing a lot of good information for why, especially Bitcoin, is hard to censor and is basically almost unstoppable as long as it continues its progress and march forward, because people want to use it. And when people want to use something and gain freedom, they definitely try to learn about it.
Yeah, I totally co-sign all of that. I mean, it makes a hell of a lot more sense than using cash, money, any kind of money, really.
Yeah.
So I want to talk to you because one time we mentioned this on your. I know you offer the private webinars with your men's community, and you do the. I think is you do once a month hangouts or twice a month webinars.
Anywhere from once to twice a month. Yeah.
Right. And I was in one of those. It was a good time. I remember we were talking about it in there. We were talking about. We had the conversation about shitcoins. Now, how familiar are you with Binance Coin and Binance?
From what I understand, Binance is a exchange, right?
Yes.
And the exchange is also built out its own token, which is designed to grow with the amount of transactions that happen on the exchange. If I understand that correctly, partially. I don't have any. Yeah, I don't have any Binance coins, so school me on that.
Yeah, so we like, if there's 2 coins that we hardcore support on this channel, it is Bitcoin, and then we also support Binance Coin. Now, Binance Coin is pretty unique because basically, to make it a long story short, you're basically betting on the house in Vegas with Binance Coin. Binance Coin is the currency that you can use on Binance to pay for your transactions. And also, they have this system in place where every quarter they do something called a coin burn. And every quarter they just destroy a large portion of their coins to not only help with inflation, but actually increase the price. And if you could track it from the beginning, the price of Binance is slowly but surely going up. And with the adoption of cryptocurrency going nowhere but up as well, right now, one Binance coin, I mean, we've been watching Binance coin since it was $4 at one point.
Yeah, the beginning of this year, or the end of last year, beginning of this year.
And then now it is all the way up to
it's
27.54.
Right.
Yeah, and it was up to about 38 at its peak.
Yeah, it peaked, and I don't know. I'm a pretty heavy believer in Binance coin. Did I miss anything you want to add in there?
One other thing, which I think we probably didn't mention too much before, even on this channel with Binance coin, is one of its simplest functions is that you get a discount when you do trading on Binance if you hold Binance coin. So, for example, let's say the fee for whatever trade I'm going to do in Bitcoin or Ethereum or Litecoin is going to cost me $5. If I have Binance coin in my wallet on Binance, then that trade will be like, I think at the beginning it was like a 50% discount. Now it's like 25, and then they're going to reduce that until after its first 4 years. And once it's a fully functioning website, then that'll go away.
Yeah. So just to be the devil's advocate, that sounds a lot like a centralized token.
Oh, yeah, I think it is pretty centralized because it's not actually an open source software right now. So most of these coins that are built out really well, like, for example, one that's relatively known in the crypto community but unknown elsewhere right now is called Raven coin. And that one, is just built out as a project without any, central group or anything like that. Whereas, Binance coin was made by the exchange itself. The only thing, I guess, with Binance coin and other exchange related coins is they're the first ones right now to see a lot more gains and stable gains than other coins, simply because they have different incentives for people to use them, at least at the moment. Whether you're going to be able to hold Binance coin for forever and it will continue to appreciate is not a guarantee. I think it's more similar to like a stock in a company than it is actually to Bitcoin itself, because they say they will try to, put out the open source software code in the future so that you can, make a Binance replica of Binance coin. But at the moment, they're not doing that. So definitely it is, highly controlled. So that's one of the dangers of it for sure.
Yeah, that was my bad. Sorry, I clicked on my Binance link on my top bar by accident and switched.
Oh, you're cool.
Oh, no worries.
So tell us this: do you time for the bull markets in cryptocurrency? I mean, how much do you pay attention to the markets?
Not that much, if I'm being honest. I'm kind of more of a holder, right? Like I've just got it sitting there as a store of value. I'm not big on day trading, week trading, or anything like that. I got kind of other things going on. Like I just know that something like Bitcoin will appreciate in value over time, and it's not that difficult to spot when it's low and buy more of it. And when you see it go up, offload some of it.
And when did you originally get it?
Oh, I don't know. Probably about 2.5 years ago.
Okay. So no problem, right? Yeah, I think probably 2.5 years ago. What are we in right now? 2019.
Well, a lot of people would say that was a roller coaster ride.
Oh, it was a hell of a roller coaster ride. We loved it.
It was mania, man. I saw hot girls on the train in Tokyo checking their Binance or their Bitflyer accounts. Bitflyer is the Japanese, basically the Japanese Coinbase over here. Yeah. And they are, I mean, dude, there were trucks with like Bitcoin advertisements. There were Bitcoin girls on TV dancing. It was insane, bro. Because in Japan.
Sorry, I was just gonna ask, what about a decentralized exchange? Is that what Binance is, or is it a centralized one?
So they have made a decentralized exchange, but the only problem with decentralized exchanges at the moment is that they don't have that much liquidity, because they simply have more people trading on Binance.com than they do on Binance Dex, is what it's called, for the decentralized exchange. So they are trying to migrate people towards that, but it's going to take a lot longer for them to get enough liquidity and get enough people trading on that. But they're incentivizing people to start trading on that now.
Yeah. So I actually have Binance as an exchange that I use.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's one of the best exchanges. You're based in Canada?
Yeah, Toronto.
Okay, yeah. So I believe, because in September, I think September 12th, all IP addresses from the United States will be blocked access to Binance.com. I'm not sure about Canada if they're I don't think they're including Canada, but you might want to double check on that.
So is that the FTC that's blocking them, or?
No, they did it what do you call it? They kind of front ran that because they started doing margin trading, which margin trading is pretty much looked down upon by a lot of regulators in the United States. So they knew if they started to do margin trading, that they would probably get cracked down on. So instead of waiting for that to happen, they split off into Binance US, which is going to be a regulated American exchange, which is separate from Binance.com.
Okay. So I should be getting my money off Binance if they're going to do that. Well, I don't really have much on there anyway. I've got most of it on a cold storage wallet.
Well, basically what will happen with that is that you'll be able to access your wallet. So once that date hits, you won't be like, okay, now I lost all my funds. You still will be able to access it at that time. You just won't be able to trade on the platform if you're in the United States. I'm not sure about Canada in particular. But yeah, what people can do if they still like Binance to use it, they can use like a VPN and Tor, and then their IP doesn't show where they're from, and they can continue to use it as usual. But if people don't want to use that type of technology, then yes, either a regulated exchange within North America, or there's other exchanges which you don't have to do the KYC, know your customer, or things like that, which are like, there's an exchange called KuCoin, which is based out of Singapore, and Singapore is pretty friendly for crypto.
What do you think is going to happen when the market corrects as far as the value of cryptocurrency?
You mean when it gets to like the next top?
Well, we've had a bull run since what, 2009 or so? You know, the stock market, so it's due for a correction. So what do you think is going to happen to something like Bitcoin then?
So yeah, I show my chart every day on my show, and then the only thing is, I think, well, we can do the screen share here, so I can show you my chart actually.
Yeah, do you want to see the you want to do that?
Yeah, I can show them a macro view.
Okay, 1 second. Let's do, make sure that there's
if you press the application window, I think you can do. No.
Let's just do this one. Okay. Actually, see something. Okay.
Yeah, that's that one.
Just that chart?
Yeah.
That you're there? Okay.
I'll just take this.
Okay.
Yeah, even if I press this one here, it'll change over, right?
No. That's,
where's the thing? Yeah, it did change over. Okay, sweet. So yeah, this is basically the chart that I've been showing on a longer term scale. And I do Elliott wave analysis, which, not everybody, doesn't work for everybody. But it's worked very well for me in my trading since I've been doing Bitcoin trading. But basically, like you said, it came out in 2009, but actually the data that we get on exchanges has not been reliable except for after mid 2011. So this exchange here called Bitstamp is one of the longest running exchanges that has high trading volumes, but also a long history. Because if you probably remember Mt. Gox, which got hacked back in the day, no longer exists, right?
Yeah.
So most traders start their analysis from here, which is late 2011. And just by Elliott wave, I don't know if you're familiar with it, but basically it does a 5-wave impulse up. And so this blue line is what I have as the 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're currently in this final wave of this basically first bull run in Bitcoin. And you can subdivide those within the, waves, like an impulse wave has 5 waves within it, and a correction has generally 3, but it can get a little bit more complicated, but just, this is the general idea. But basically what we saw is once we get down to this correction here, that was the wave 4. So if we zoom in on that just a little bit, then you can kind of see, it gets really messy here because I got a lot of stuff on the short term here. But basically we finished the wave 1 in this first 5-wave impulse. So that means we're in this correction right now, which means anything under 10,000 is going to be a good deal. But then we have this, like you said, this last bit of this first bull market wave. What's going to happen after that is, yes, you're going to have a correction as well. And how large is that going to be is anybody's guess at this point. But what usually happens with Bitcoin in particular is it goes down. Let's say it goes, for example, here to 100,000 USD, which some people think is freaking nuts, but it's definitely very possible if you look at the charts. So let's say 100,000 USD, and usually Bitcoin retraces 80 to 95%. So let's just put it like a 90% retracement from 100,000. right, would be back to where it is now at about 9,000, 10,000 bucks. So part of that, right, is right now, if you're in this final wave, if you do get in under 10,000, then you can ride this wave up. And then once it gets down, you do have to be knowledgeable enough to be like, okay, when do we get towards the top and what does that look like? And how do I get out properly? Because you can make money in a bear market. Actually, in 2018, when Bitcoin was going down, if you were selling against the market or selling out into dollars and getting back into Bitcoin, you could have, multiplied your Bitcoin by quite a lot. So,
but his initial question was, what do you think is going to happen to cryptocurrency when the market corrects?
Oh, people freak out again and say it's dead forever.
No. When the stock market corrects.
He's talking about the stock market? Or?
No. What I'm talking about is, what do you think is going to happen to the value of Bitcoin when the stock market corrects?
Yeah.
Oh, when the stock market corrects. I thought you meant when Bitcoin corrects.
Yeah. So when the stock market corrects, I think it's going to go up.
Oh, yeah. It's a hedge against inflation. And, so basically when the stock market corrects, and I actually did a show on this on Thursday last week, just saying, what if another recession happens? What's going to happen to Bitcoin? I think Bitcoin is more similar to gold in that it's a hedge against inflation. So if the stock market crashes and unemployment goes up, a recession happens, and we do need to start printing more dollars and do more quantitative easing and all that type of stuff, then I think the price of Bitcoin goes up naturally because the dollar value will go down.
When are you thinking this is going to happen, Rich? When would you personally think that there's going to be this correction?
I don't know, man. It feels like we've been teetering on one for a few years now. I haven't seen it because I've got money. Like, I can't invest in crypto under the retirement savings plan here in Canada, which is basically the only tax-free way that you can invest money. So they encourage you to still put stuff in the stock markets. So that's where I've got most of my money. So I've got investments in there, and I don't know, like, it just looks like you're due for some kind of major correction, but it just hasn't happened yet. I don't know.
Yeah,
I could go. You want to hear me go full Alex Jones on you?
Go.
All right. So I personally believe, to an extent, that the recessions and the corrections or whatnot are somewhat artificially controlled, and I feel that, like, right now, I think people are just getting too woke. That if they did that, I think there would just be chaos. Like, people would lose more faith. I mean, I think
people would lose so much faith in the dollar, everything.
I think that right now, people's faith in the United States government, the global government system, and all, I believe that it's at an all-time low in human history.
Thin ice.
And they can't handle a bunch of normies, let alone a bunch of normies in America with guns, get angry because they can't, because there's a fucking recession. So,
but the only thing they can do to try to stop a recession is go into negative interest rates, which they've never actually done before on a large scale.
So what do you think about that? How crazy does that sound?
Well, the big debt problem that they got looming is really with student loans and car loans, and it's pretty significant right now, right? So, what pushed them into the recession in 2008 was a bunch of mortgages that really had no value based on the value of the properties and how they lent them out. And that's kind of where they are with a lot of vehicle loans and the student loan debt burden right now. I don't know. It's bound to happen soon, I think.
Yeah, it's actually much worse than what it was in 2008, even in terms of how much the banks are leveraged on those debts.
Oh yeah, but they'll figure out a way to cover it up and fuck it up, and try to say that Bitcoin's a big Ponzi scheme, and blah blah blah, fill in the blank, to discourage people. But I mean, the government's a lot like the government's a lot like single moms, where it doesn't take ownership for a lot of shit. It likes to point and sputter at everybody else. So it's got so much power. It's got so much power, right? Like, it's got the ability to actually print money, which is unheard of, like something that we've never seen ever in history. So it'll be interesting to see how stuff unfolds. I mean, I told my buddy a couple of years ago, when he started banging on the whole cryptocurrency drum, Amir Rosic, he's a good friend of mine. He runs Block Geeks. And he's like, yeah, I'm going all in on crypto and this, that, and the other thing. And I'm like, yeah, well, I don't really see it working, because I've worked up against the big banks and the government with my debt business. And I've seen what they do when they see even a tiny foothold take place in an industry that saves people a shitload of money, which is what our debt business did. And And cryptocurrency takes away so much power from the government. So I see them going down, kicking and screaming like little girls.
Well, that's what's happening right now, even.
Yeah, let me ask you this, because I feel like, so recently, I called this in 2017. I put it out, I just can't find the tweet. I said, Donald Trump will tweet about Bitcoin. And recently, he did tweet about Bitcoin in a negative manner, saying like, you know, the US dollar is better. And I was just
like the US dollar. Well,
he said it's the best currency in the world, and it's backed up by, you know, it's backed up by something. He said Bitcoin is backed up by nothing, and then the US currency is backed up by something, which is like the biggest fucking lie.
It's the biggest lie ever. Yeah.
So that being said, the government has, like, you know, you have personal history with the government personally fucking your life up temporarily.
Yeah.
Do you see them doing anything to stop Bitcoin, like making Bitcoin illegal? I don't.
Well, they can try to make it illegal. You know, they can try to, you know, prohibit, like, they'll just manufacture legislation that will prohibit access to it, is what I've seen them do. Like, that's their strategy. That's what I saw them do with my debt businesses. The banks and credit card companies didn't like that people had access to a way to pay less than what they owed. So they manufactured stories first and went on this propaganda scheme to tell people that you're going to get ripped off, your credit rating is going to go in the toilet. You know, kind of sounds a lot like what they say about Bitcoin, right? It's a Ponzi scheme. It's not backed by anything. It's fake money. You know, so they go on a street kind of telling the general public that it's not good. And then they'll go and change legislation to protect the general public, because the general public needs the protection of the government still, apparently. And they'll support it because they feel like they need the protection of the government. But people are so stupid, like, to this reality. They're never going to wake up to the fact that the government's not on their side. They're never going to wake up to the fact that central banks and financial institutions and all these publicly traded companies that really just care about showing good profit margins are ever going to be on their side. All they care about is making money. And that's what they can't get through their thick skulls. But once the general population gets that through their heads, that, oh, gee, maybe if I take, like, the card out of their playbook, out of the big banks and the government's playbook, all about me, and start doing that for themselves, that's when they'll adopt Bitcoin.
Let me ask you something. One of our guys in the chat here, Nova Roma, he says, the economy depends on debt. Now, I don't necessarily agree with that.
Fiat currency depends on debt, not the economy, because the economy for the longest time before we had paper money did not depend on debt. For, like, if you go back to the book Sapiens, where it talks about kind of like the evolution of humanity into sapiens, like as we are today, the only reason why money has any value today is because we all agree that a $20 bill is worth $20 of something. So that is pretty consistent. Doesn't matter if I get gas, groceries, bread, tires for my car, whatever. We all agree that $20 has a certain value, and that's the value of fiat currency, because everybody agrees in it. But until that collapses on itself, we're not going to see anybody move away from it, I don't think, anyway.
No, that's definitely true. Actually, there's this interesting idea. I talked with a guy late last week who actually I'm going to be putting the show with me and him on later this week, or maybe over the weekend, which he actually talks about this idea called hyper Bitcoinization, which is basically mostly just hyperinflation. Once a country goes through hyperinflation, kind of similar to what's happening in Argentina, when truly the rug is pulled out from underneath them and they have to run to some
Argentina or Venezuela?
Oh, sorry,
Venezuela.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah,
you're cool.
Right.
You're cool.
But so yeah, once that actually happens, once like a cataclysmic event type of thing happens, which is what some people are calling for, you know, in a next potential recession, that's when people really wise up, because it's a thing of necessity that they have to learn, and you know they'll then go for that. So it's either fear of that happening, which will get them into Bitcoin, or greed, which is, you know, what we saw in 2017. When everybody's like, shit, this price is high, I want to get on this, and I want to get on the gravy train, right? Yeah. So well, it's those two extremes.
Well, if you boil it down to the basics, as far as like the fundamentals of how sapiens operate, the reason why we're so successful as a species is because of gossip, is basically what it boils down to. And gossip is, you know, it ties into things like religion. It ties into things like, you know, the economics of money. So, I mean, the reason why you've got Islam and Catholicism and all these other different factions of religion is because these people, these groups of people, all agree in that fundamental base, and those, like if it's Catholics, it's like the 10, like the 10 Commandments is part and parcel of what they're all about. It's the same thing with money, but money is the biggest religion in the world, because everybody agrees that the US dollar is like, I'm going down to Mexico next week. I'm not bringing pesos, I'm bringing US dollars, right?
Yeah.
Because it's accepted around the world. And until that cycle breaks, until people see like the fact that it's a house of cards, which they don't see right now, until that breaks, it's still going to be all agreed upon by the entire world. But Bitcoin's well positioned to fill that gap. It's just people have to start talking about that narrative, right? Like that gossip needs to continue and grow for Bitcoin to really be adopted and to really grow and to see its true value. Because a lot of people are like, like 1 Bitcoin, 2 Bitcoin, and it costs so much to get one, but it's a Satoshi's. It's that decimal point with all those zeros after it that will be useful. Like at one point, I can see in the future, and like not in the next 5 years, definitely 50 years, you'll go to the gas station or you'll fill up with electricity in an electric car, and you'll pay with Satoshis probably, right?
Well, and also your electric car might pay itself, right? So for example,
Right.
if you have an autonomous vehicle, it has, its own machine that's running its program, and it'll pay the other machine in crypto, which is faster. And you won't have to do a goddamn thing.
Yeah, but that's like well in the future.
Way down the road. Yeah.
And that's too scary for most people, right? Like some people still get up to change the channels on their TV with a dial. They don't even have a remote control.
Fucking stay in your trailer park, dear Lord.
Well, that's the other flip side of this argument too, as well, which is like, well, crypto and Bitcoin doesn't have to be like 100% adopted and be the world's reserve currency to actually have value as well, right? Like, look at where it's come over the last 10 years, right? 10 years ago, literally, it's magic internet nerd money. You're lucky if you can buy a pizza with it. Now it's being talked about by the US government, by the president of the United States, by the head of the Federal Reserve as an actual threat to, their system that they've created, because it is actually built out as better money. And so, just how far it's come in that 10 years just, shows you like, yeah, it can be, a side thing for a while and still gain value.
Rich, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Did you want to say something? Go ahead.
No, I was going to ask you about Libra, but go ahead.
Yeah. Oh man, we got a whole Megatrix in there for Libra.
I think that reaction says enough right there.
Yeah.
Well, that's the reaction of the informed, but the uninformed that are on Facebook all day long, doing this dumb stuff, chasing down, like attention. I have a feeling that it's probably going to be one of the things that gets more eyeballs on crypto. It's just the wrong kind, right? Because it's again centralized.
And I think ultimately, it's like, when some beta dork's trying to cuck you at the bar and he's just making you look better. That's like Libra. Libra's the beta and alpha's
think about
the alpha.
Who's behind Gemini Exchange, right?
Right.
The Winklevoss twins,
right?
Who road crew, who were very smart guys who went to Harvard,
right?
And they actually had the idea for Facebook, right? And they had their shit together, but they weren't developers. Mark Zuckerberg literally stole it from them, had to pay them $11 million, after the settlement, but became a billionaire from it. You got him wanting to jump on the Bitcoin train, trying to do it in a way that he could control, and he's actually failing miserably. Whereas they, were smart enough to get on the crypto train a lot earlier. And I think they have something like 90,000 Bitcoin, roughly around that amount.
So for the audience, for you guys watching, just so you know, Libra is Facebook's proposed cryptocurrency, but it doesn't even fit the criteria to be a cryptocurrency at all. My biggest thing is this. I have like Richard has a private Facebook community. I have a private Facebook community, right? One of our guys, we're very colorful behind the scenes, and we're colorful in the comment section. And within my own comment section, me, the boss of the fucking Facebook group, I wrote a comment replying to somebody, and Facebook banned me for 3 days from commenting on anything in Facebook. Right?
From your own private group.
I got banned from all of Facebook. I couldn't post status.
So what's going to happen to your money that you got on Facebook then, right?
Exactly. If Libra's going to say, "Oh, you got some wrong think," we got to lock up those dollars, and that's the quickest way to piss somebody off is take their money away.
Yeah, and Visa already does the same thing, right? When you have political hate speech and stuff like
that,
PayPal trying to block it.
Yeah.
PayPal does it. You know, they can clean out your account at any time if you keep money on there.
Yeah. So I think that ultimately Libra will start off well. I think it'll be similar to BitConnect. It'll start off well, and then all it's gonna do is just either turn people back to fiat.
Is there gonna be that Filipino guy that does like the BitConnect dance too?
Probably.
We can make that for them.
We'll throw a fucking.
But the one thing is also, you don't want to get the cart before the horse too much with Libra. Is just over the last 2 months, it's gotten so much resistance from the United States government that basically they're starting to say, like, Bitcoin, or sorry, not Bitcoin,
Libra.
Facebook. Yeah, Libra, the Libra Foundation, Facebook themselves said, even just like in the last 1 week, they said, we've been getting so much resistance. We don't want to hurt our company's, image over the world. And, maybe we won't do the Libra project. They're starting to second guess themselves even. So they may not even get out of the gate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's ultimately a good thing. Rich, let me ask you this. There's a big event happening with Bitcoin in May of next year. Are you familiar with what it is?
It's the halving, isn't it?
Yes. Could you just give me, I want to just pick your brain. What what you know, what is the halving?
Doesn't it have the reward for each confirmed transaction?
Yes, exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. Yeah. So what's going to happen? I mean, what's going to happen is, for every time this is how new Bitcoin is created and released to the Bitcoin economy for you guys that are listening. Okay. The miners are the people who process all of the transactions, and each transaction is stored in a block of data on the blockchain, because the blockchain is literally a chain of blocks of data, right?
Just like that chain around your neck.
Right.
But just like with made of blocks.
So the blockchain is ran and processed by miners, and miners are all around the world. It's a decentralized situation. It's dudes in their mom's basement, and we got people on military bases. We got people all over the world who are these miners, and they have these mining pools. When people group together, they use their combined computing power to process transactions, and every time each block is filled, it releases a reward to that certain mining group. And the reward currently is 12 Bitcoin. In May of 2020, that reward will be permanently reduced to 6.
Well, 6.25, yeah. And for another 4 years, and then another halving will happen, and it'll be down to about 3 or so.
So we're timing a pretty crazy bull run, probably at least by the end of 2021, I think.
Oh, well, yeah, you're going to want to get in this year for sure, because what usually happens before a halving is it starts getting priced in. The market obviously knows this is going to happen, so people start anticipating that. And so the supply doesn't actually get, reduced immediately, right, on that specific day. But the next 4 years after that, the supply is continually reduced for forever. So people are basically pricing it in before that. And so the last time that the halving happened, about 1 year before the halving, is when the markets really started taking off. And this year, the market started taking off about 1.5 years before the halving, but it really, hit its peak here at the end of June. And between May, because it's going to happen in May of 2020. So what happened in May and June of this year was when the price went beyond everybody's expectations, because people are starting to see that that's coming. And so I think probably the end of this year, beginning of next year, is going to be pretty insane. But the only thing we can do is, wait and watch,
yeah, I think it's going to happen.
It's definitely going to happen.
I've got my shit talker fired up on full speed, ready to go.
So between a market correction and the halving of the reward, the future looks bright, basically.
Yes, without a doubt. Let me ask you this, Rich. Obviously, the pool of people, competent people who actually understand cryptocurrency, blockchain technology, and where this is all going, like you, obviously Charlie. I talked to the guys in my body language mastery webinars about this is a very viable skill. How would you, as an entrepreneur, because obviously you run a great YouTube channel, EntrepreneursInCars, right? How is you as an entrepreneur, how would you leverage this talent of interpreting cryptocurrency, understanding what it is, how would you leverage that into a small business or some way for a man to generate a revenue stream?
That's a good question. I think the future in this area, I mean, if I were to lean into it, I don't have the interest in it nor the skills, but something within smart contracts, would seem to me to be the best place to that, or, developing stuff for Bitcoin, one or the other. I think that creating new tokens and currencies and new use cases and white papers, that's, there's enough of that. We've proven that that's like a colossal waste of time and money, I think. But smart contracts will definitely become useful in the future, in the near future anyway. And, developing stuff for Bitcoin that supports that ecosystem for sure.
Do you know that you can now tip your favorite Twitch thought with cryptocurrency using Upcoin?
I wouldn't be surprised. Can we use Upcoin on YouTube?
I think it's just like Streamlabs. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's called Upcoin. Don't quote me on that. Let me double check real quick. But I think it's called Upcoin, and they have let's see, donation. Let me see.
Because I personally love cryptocurrency donations. People send me PayPal donations all the time, just random, buy yourself a beer, have a coffee, your stuff has really helped me out, sort of thing. Cool, love it, but I'd rather have cryptocurrency tips, to be honest with you.
Oh, fuck yeah, for sure. Everybody, like, I do my consultations, but if you pay in Bitcoin, you get 50% discount. Because
that's actually a good idea. I'll offer the same thing. I'd really like that. I'm gonna steal that from you.
Yeah, dude, it's money. It's money because this thing is like, if you're not stacking Bitcoin, you really need to take a reality check on it.
Yeah, that's really the only use case. Like I said before, right now the biggest use case for all the other cryptocurrencies outside of Bitcoin and Ethereum, because Ethereum has the smart contracts, like you said, the only use case right now is the speculation. And so the use of that is, the volatility is pretty high. So if you did want to increase your Bitcoin, by trading, that is one way that people can do it. But generally, I would say probably only about 20% of the people who try that out of the 100% of people that do it actually make money on it. So it is not for everybody. But like Rich is saying, earning it or buying and holding it is a big thing. And it, especially, like, for example, in the United States, in Canada, the marijuana industry is basically, thumbs up, right?
Yep.
In the States, that type of industry, it has its, thumbs up in a few states, but not everywhere. So federally, what they can do is they can come in and basically raid your store or raid your house if they don't like what you're doing. And they can take all your money, take all your assets. Whereas if a store like that wanted to actually hold its own money in a place that was safe, that's not seizable unless they actually like torture you. If they were to, for example, get paid in Bitcoin, then even if they were raided, the Bitcoin isn't physically there. So it's not like they're going to come in and take that. Of course, they will try to, but it's one of those things where if you're in a business where you need to have a little bit more control of your money and basically be your own bank, it's definitely worth it, both for its appreciation, but also for the control that you have.
It's funny because I always know when to buy more crypto, because what ends up happening is people send me whatever they have left on their wallet to my wallet, and I'll get like deposits for like $8.17, $12.13, just like randoms leftovers because I think the market's going to crash. That's when I'll go and buy a shitload more.
Yeah, no. We personally we've been calling it on the show here, and people have been saying we're crazy, but the guys who are crazy enough to take action with us have been made a couple thousands of dollars. That being said, we think that this year is going to be a new all-time high. I know it sounds crazy, but I think I have the same feeling of what happened in 2017, and I'm looking at the charts, and during the summer it was kind of stagnant, to be honest with you, in 2017, but then Q3 and Q4 rolled around, and then it was just fucking insanity, dude. There was mania. There was Bitcoin mania in Tokyo, at least. It was just mania everywhere. So, what do you think about that? You have any?
I have no idea, because it's to me it's like I can just see the waves and the trends. Like I just know people are buying when it's in the news all the time, And I know people are getting out of it when there's some, publicity in the news about it being a scam, or I don't know, like what happened earlier this year. The exchange in Canada. What the hell was it called?
They lost
yeah, I forgot the name of it.
Binance
The guy
got hacked.
The guy
for
literally
sure.
died too.
Yeah, the guy died, and they lost like millions of crypto because he had like the only key to access it. I don't even have it here in my shortcuts anymore. Something or another.
Christ.
I don't know. Binance now.
Yeah, and well, that's why smart contracts are also useful, right? Because you can actually make like an escrow or a fund where basically multiple people have access to it, but it's like a multi-key signature. Where let's say, for example, you have like 5 people who have, or 5 different keys. You have at least somebody else has 2 or 3 keys, and you need 3 keys to open it. Then, some shit hits the fan like that. Then it doesn't go into space.
Right. And what do you do, Charlie? You've got a company that does a cold storage wallet, or?
No, so my whole shtick is that I just help people, help to educate people about cryptocurrency, specifically about Bitcoin at the moment, because that's what's running the market. But like John, I do a YouTube channel. I do it 4 days a week, and then I come here on Wednesdays. And so I've been able to, get out of the rat race, make money by trading crypto myself, which I know not everybody can do, the trading aspect, but a lot of people basically understand zilch, nothing about Bitcoin. So I help people those 4 ways that you can get it. If people want to learn about mining, I'll tell them how they can figure out mining. It is not for everyone, and that's the most difficult one. The second one, as I mentioned before, if people just want to buy and hold and receive it as donations like you guys are talking about here, then, how can you do that? And when is a good time to, protect yourself if it's going down? When do you need to sell it? When do you need to, continue holding it? That kind of thing, which is the simplest thing for people to do. And a lot of the people, they don't even know how to get it right. Like I told people that you can do like a Bitcoin ATM, and people didn't even know that thing existed in the United States, right? So that's the second way that I help people. The third way, which I think, if you really want to maximize your Bitcoin, is trading, that speculation, but the volatility is huge, so not everybody can stomach it. And so right now, the charts in terms of the Bitcoin market, looking at those, how to understand those, how to learn trading, especially people coming from like a stock market background going into crypto. I help a lot of those type of people as well. And then the last thing is how to earn it. And we haven't gone into that area so much yet, simply because people are still pretty skeptical about Bitcoin. But I think one of the things I want to add on to my business is a kind of a business, direct to business, business type service, which is helping companies that want to earn Bitcoin, like the Miami Dolphins, for example, recently just adopted Litecoin as their official cryptocurrency that they can get paid in the stadium. So I do want to add that onto my services now, but right now mainly trading, because that's the thing that everybody's speculating on.
What's your YouTube channel?
Cultivate Crypto.
Okay, I'm going to subscribe to that right now.
Thanks.
Yep.
And my website is cultivatecrypto.com. And my Twitter is @cultivatecrypto. So you might start seeing a pattern here. But yeah, I keep it all pretty simple. And today I did, because a lot of the guys that I'm working with, for example, there's a guy in the middle of the United States who, because like you said before, right, you don't want to be too heavy into those shit coins. Really, if you're going to be playing with other stuff, it should be temporary in order to gain your Bitcoin. But a lot of guys are like, I want to see your trades. I want to know how you trade, Charlie. So I'm going to be putting that out there on my website from today on my own Telegram channel. So anybody who's interested in getting into the trading and figuring that aspect of it out, I'll be showing my charts there and trading with me. But if anybody just wants to learn for free, they can go to my YouTube channel. And if people want a quick rundown on crypto, if they've never been introduced to it, or if they have lost money with it and want to figure out how to regain that, then I do the private consultations as well. And that's all accessible through my website.
How do, there's a lot of people shilling Bitcoin trading courses and, make all this money, act now, blah, blah, blah. How do you distinguish the zeros from the heroes? Like, how do you just, figure out who's lying to you and who actually knows what they're doing?
A lot of fucking work. I'm
not going to mention whose course is shit, but I've got a lot of people coming to me complaining about somebody's course. it's really a shot in the dark because, dude,
here's the thing.
the fucking wild west. Like, there's no,
it is.
You can't, like, I have my bachelor's degree in Bitcoin. There's none of that.
Exactly. And by the way, that's exactly how the banks and credit card companies shut down or tried to shut down the debt settlement industry here. Was they said, oh, there's people that are being preyed upon and taken advantage of. We need to introduce laws that will protect these people, which really they just manipulate it. And it's like, well, while we're introducing legislation, why don't we also make it so that we have supreme power and we're the overlords over every form of currency transaction ever?
And they're trying that right now. I think it's the FATF. It's one of the biggest financial organizations in the world. They're trying to make it so that each exchange that sends crypto across borders has to give the information about each person, as banks do, between an exchange, let's say, based in Europe versus an exchange based in the US. But the actual way that cryptocurrency and cryptography works is that it's has the anonymity baked into it. So it's basically really, really difficult, if not impossible, for those exchanges to share that information. So a lot of the government and the financial institutions are trying to throw these things at crypto. But the way that it's built is simply not the same way. So it is a lot harder for them to get against that. And recently, just over the last week, there was a few people in the Senate hearings that were saying we need to ban cryptocurrency. And there's even a few senators that were actually smart enough to say, but there's an article in Forbes today about it, which they just said, yeah, we're starting to realize that we probably won't be able to effectively ban Bitcoin. So they're trying to figure out, where they can control it if they can even. So, but to answer your question on the courses stuff, what I did in particular is when I follow people, I follow them for like 3 to 6 months. I watch their charts, or I watch what they're doing, watch what they're talking about, and see if they know what they're talking about, or if they have like a different point of view, a different angle than me. And I usually follow like 10 people that I have some good information from, and then about 7 of those people I'm like, okay, based on this guy's language, based on his results, based on the information that I've been watching from him, I'll trade with him. These other 3 people, I'll trade against them, or I'll use them as kind of like to take my blinders off. But that way, you have to look at a lot of information and then filter it out to get down to what's actually valuable. But what people tend to do is they don't tend to take the time to do that. So what they do is they jump in and say, oh, this guy has a course, this guy has a course, they go and just buy it. And then they figure out the hard way, ooh, that wasn't the right one. So I do encourage people to follow my YouTube channel first before, buying anything from me, even a consultation, figure out who I am. Watch, what I've done over the last few months with my channel. And then, if you're happy with my services that I give out for free, then yeah, by all means, come and use my services. But I do try to give charlatans there are out there giving you basically shit information just to pump whatever coins that they're holding, which they can't even do because, the market's, too big for that even now, but they try to. And so, every day, what I do just as kind of, part of my job and my hobby now is I go through all of that information that's coming out in the crypto space, and I try to cut through it for my audience, because it is really hard to do, because you get, like you said, it's the Wild West, and you get so much bad information from the government, from financial companies, from, other competing cryptocurrencies. It's just, a huge hodgepodge of information. So unless you've been in the space a while, you really won't know. So you have to find somebody that you can trust.
You've got to do your due diligence. Long story short, there's just no, I mean, like there's shit I can see. Like when I see people telling like, yeah, just trade like long Bitcoin on this 25x margin. I'm just like,
and margin trading is
just
ridiculous.
Like, listen,
That's
dude,
like going to a casino.
Listen, dude, you're gonna lose all your fucking money, man, real quick.
Well, you're gonna owe money on top of that. You're gonna go into debt.
Yeah. And it's not a good thing.
Ridiculous.
So it's hard. That's the thing. So I personally believe that, because there is just such a lack of how can I say this, accredited education out there on Bitcoin.
There's literally only one thing that I've ever found, which is the Bitcoin certified professional, which basically the whole community just laughed at, because they're just like, why do you need to be certified in Bitcoin? You just either you know it or you don't.
Right. And that's the thing. That's because it's so wild west. But I think that's what's good, because, I mean, it's pretty, I mean, all 3 of us here, we all know the government does one thing and one thing only, fuck everything up. So I think keeping them out of it is a good idea. That being said, man, I'm very optimistic for the future of cryptocurrency. A lot of people want to base, they say like, oh, well, Bitcoin was, 19,000. Now it's only 9,000, right? Look at the yearly lows. Look at the lowest point every year. That's the greatest indicator. Look at that. We are stable right now at fucking $9,000 Bitcoin.
Yep.
And all Bitcoin is getting mainstream. This drove me up a wall, Rich. When fucking AJ Cortez was tweeting about Bitcoin, I was like, dude, shut the fuck up, you goddamn ballerina. You don't know shit about Bitcoin. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Go sell your goddamn PDF workouts. And like that's the thing. People were believing him, and it's just like, dude, the guy's a fucking ballerina or a fucking personal trainer. Now he's a Bitcoin expert.
The first time that I ever saw any of his information was when I was looking through crypto Twitter in 2017. And then after 2017, once it went into a bear market, he never talked about it again.
Of course not, because it wasn't hip.
And now he's talking about it again, and it's like, okay, what's the correlation here?
It just blows my fucking mind. So that's the thing. So could you offer a cryptocurrency course yourself, Richard? Absolutely. Charlie's coming out with one. And the reality is, people are so uneducated on this, and it is so crucial for them to be educated on it. I will say a morsel of hope. Are you familiar with that girl, Michelle Phan?
Is she a Twitch thought, or is she?
She's a makeup girl.
Yeah.
She has one of the largest makeup channels. I think the largest one in the world. And now she's gone like full Bitcoin. So you got all these, like I talked to an 18-year-old chick on Twitch, and she was like, oh yeah, I know about Bitcoin because Michelle Phan was talking about it. And she gave me a huge rundown. I was like, God damn, like it blew me away. But I think that what people don't realize is like, and this is gonna get real woo-woo for a second, but I think we're in the middle of a financial revolution that not a lot of people are really keen to what's happening. Well, it's happening slowly but surely. I mean, they can't stop Bitcoin.
Well, this is the biggest thing to happen to money since, if you want to go back into recent history, since credit cards and checks, and then before that, paper money, and before that, right? You had a lot more simple ways for people to use.
Well, it took paper money quite a few years to be adopted by people, right? Like they didn't trust it at first. Like people would bring their gold to a financial institution. They would exchange it on deposit for paper notes that said that it had a certain amount of value on paper because it was easier than carrying gold. And it took them a long time to adopt paper notes as a form of currency. So we're only 10 years in roughly, right?
Right. Yeah. And so it's like, very nascent stage, still taking baby steps. And yet it's still, going up in price pretty well. And then also, gaining as much adoption as it is pretty amazing to me. So one of the things for myself is just, this is a budding industry and we're at the very beginning of it. So if you understand it now, you do understand it more than basically anybody who you're going to go sit next to at the coffee shop. So if you do have the interest in it and you do have the ability to, learn it bit by bit every day. For me, for example, I did get pretty into it when I first, started making money in it. It was the greed.
Tell them who pushed you in the direction of Bitcoin and quitting the corporate life.
Well, the corporate part, yeah, definitely you. And who was our boss? The mutual hatred for that situation.
Right.
Them taking most of our money when we were making a lot of sales for the company. But in addition to that, yes, you pushed me into crypto, but also my dad had been into crypto since 2013 in terms of like financially. But I'd been paying attention to it since that time. I just didn't put any money into it until he was just like, the market's going to go. So I put a bit. I put like $1,000 in. It went down by 20% over the course of a couple of days. And then it went up by about 3 or 4 times in about 2 months. And I was like, holy shit, I need to know more about this. And that's when you came into the office.
Yeah, he met me. I was a new hire at the office, and he met me. And when he first met me, he's like, "Who the fuck is this douchebag?"
Yeah, I saw him with the sunglasses. We were drinking, outside with one of the company parties, and I was just like, "I'm not sure if I trust this guy. I'm not really sure about this one. I'm not really gonna, talk too much to this dude." But he started going around the office talking about crypto, and I was like, well, maybe he might be smart because actually I'm into this too, and nobody else is seeing this opportunity. And then we went to a few events together, met the guy who made Ethereum, whose name is Vitalik Buterin. So we got to meet the guy.
I actually know Vitalik's dad. I was with
Oh,
him
really?
at EO, yeah.
Oh,
Damn.
wow.
He's a friend of mine. Yeah.
How beta male is that guy?
He's actually pretty alpha, believe it or not. But like, Vitalik's
Really?
definitely, yeah. Well, his dad's alpha, but Vitalik's pretty beta. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
God.
yeah.
Exactly. We should show you the handshake, Charlie, getting the fish handshake from fucking.
It's on my website. It's on my website.
Yeah.
Yeah, I put it in the About Me page. But yeah, I think, it's a huge opportunity that nobody sees. So if you're able to get on it, at least, a bit, like you said, put in 5 to 10% max of your wealth holdings and you'll be fine. And most people will just sit on it and still be making money.
Hey, question for you. You said that you're doing coaching at a discounted rate on Bitcoin. How do you get them to pay you? Like you just get them to just deposit in your wallet, in your ledger, or how do you do it?
Bread Wallet, my friend. How I do it is
I put Bread Wallet on my tips for my YouTube channel. So I've gotten people to pay me tips through that, which is just like a Bitcoin address that they put into my Bread Wallet.
Do you have a wallet on your phone?
I've got Coinbase, which I can take deposits on, but I also have a ledger too. But I've got a ledger. So what I do is I have the Coinbase key there, and then they deposit it there, and then I just transfer it on my ledger.
Is it instantaneous?
No,
that's bullshit. Yeah. Listen, download Bread Wallet, okay? And then what you do is you click on whatever currency you have, and then you just click on the receive button, and then you just take this code and you embed it either on your website or you embed it on. You can just copy paste it and send it to somebody, and the funds are instantaneously transferred to your phone, and you are in 100% ownership of it. So if Bitcoin were to fork, right, you have access to the private keys, which means if you had 10 Bitcoin in 2017, and that's when Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash forked, if you went inside and did the private keys, you could actually officially own 10 Bitcoin Cash as well. But if you have it on like an exchange or something, you don't get that privilege.
Here, let me add.
Bread Wallet doesn't transfer directly to your ledger?
No, Bread Wallet is the wallet that you would start on, and Bread Wallet is a decentralized exchange. Well, it's not an exchange; it's a decentralized wallet. So basically, you own the private keys to your crypto there instead of trusting a third-party wallet company.
Right. I mean, but it's never totally safe until you take it off a device and you put it on your ledger device or even like a printed wallet, right?
Not with Bread Wallet.
Yeah, here's the thing. So with Bread Wallet, basically, let's say I have Bread Wallet on my phone and my phone gets obliterated, right?
Yeah, okay. So let's say you flush it down the toilet.
Right. So as long as you have your seed phrase, which is the encoded portion of your private key, you can go download Bread Wallet on your computer or on another phone anywhere else in the world, and it'll come up.
So, and I'll just simplify it for you. Before you set up Bread Wallet, they send you 12 random words. You write them down somewhere, okay? Yeah. And then once the cryptocurrency is transferred to your phone, and let's say you transfer to your phone, like it's transferred to that address, and let's say your phone flies off, you're going down the highway, your phone flies out the window, smashes to 1,000 pieces. All you need to do is download Bread Wallet on a new phone, and then put in your 12 words that they sent you, and everything is just copy pasted onto this. So it's stored on the blockchain, not on your phone.
Okay, so it's not stored on the phone. So can it be hacked though? Like, can they hack it like they can hack a centralized exchange?
Well, they would have to hack the Bitcoin blockchain because it's basically that's where the information is kept.
Okay. Okay, got it. So it's as safe as the ledger then, is what you're saying?
Yeah. So what you see when you have the okay, so here's I have my Bread Wallet here, right? I have like 1 point something Bitcoin on here, right? It shows that you have the Bitcoin here, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. But the reality is this is just it's the UI or the interface for you to see what's happening where your Bitcoin is stored. Yeah, it just says like this is how much you have on the blockchain. And if you need to transact from here, you can spend. I always keep it on me just in case some shit goes down.
Well,
but you can also spend directly from your phone, and its transactions are pretty goddamn fast, and you pay the very, very, very low fee. Because like United States, when you buy Bitcoin off of Coinbase, you have to wait 17 days right now. And you should get the Bitcoin instantaneously.
Yeah.
Well, and then here's the other thing. So that question is interesting. How can you earn cryptocurrency? And for a donation, when you put up that QR code thing, and then you get it directly to this wallet where you actually hold the keys, you actually hold the ownership of your Bitcoin. That's great for getting a donation and getting a one-time payment. But a lot of websites, for example, like when you use PayPal, right, you have to go through, basically, let's say, for example, you use PayPal. Once somebody pays on your website with PayPal, then they get automatic access to your course or to your private group or to whatever it is that you're selling. If they copy the QR code and they pay you in Bitcoin, they have to wait for you to confirm that you got the Bitcoin for you to open up the course or the group or whatever service it is for them, right? Because you don't know that they paid until you take a look at your app that you received it. Okay.
Got it.
So one other service which you can use, but is a bit of a pain to set up, is this thing called BTC Pay Server. And so you can set that up and you can basically make a point of sale system on your website or anywhere that you want to get paid directly in Bitcoin. And so that point of sale service will automatically say, okay, this person paid this person, and then your virtual product or your service that you're giving over your website will then automatically open for the person.
So question for you, what's the BRD token? Because now I'm looking at the app on my phone and it looks like it's a token-based sort of service, right?
Yeah, so they came out with their own token simply to take, I think, advantage of the hype at the time. I don't know what I haven't looked into Bread Token myself in terms of buying it. So I personally wouldn't say go out and buy Bread Token.
Yeah.
Because it's simply just a wallet. It's not like an exchange where you can get a discount on trades and stuff like that. So Bread is great as a wallet, but as a token, it's not something I would be really looking at.
Got it. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll take a look into that. Gentlemen, it's been a slice. I got to run in a couple minutes, but thanks for having me and shooting the shit and grilling me on some stuff too.
Definitely, definitely. We just want to pick your brain, and yeah, man, thank you so much for popping in. Any closing remarks? We'll let you go.
Yeah, just get into it, man. Stop dicking around and make sure you get into it for sure.
Awesome.
All right, we'll see you guys later.
See ya. Take care, man.
All right, peace.
This whole space is the red pill for men and masculinity.
Right. Yeah, I got to say, again, just looking at what we have here in regards to what's happening financially. Guys, you got to realize this. You guys are being spoiled to an extent. Those of you who are complaining, why is Bitcoin not moving? Dude, it's stabilizing at $9,000. Do you understand?
Yeah, just a hair under 10,000 right now.
Yeah, we're literally stabilizing at 9,970. It's fluctuated between 94 and 99, and sometimes north of 10. And it's stable. Okay. So that right there is huge indicator. If you have any understanding of cryptocurrency, that is a fucking huge indicator of what is going on the, on the kind of the human connection level. The price of Bitcoin is directly correlated to how many people are using Bitcoin and how many people are spending Bitcoin.
Yeah, the price itself is a reflection of the human psychology, right?
Yes.
And that's true with stock trading. It's true with any type of asset trading. And so it's showing right now that people don't want to fucking sell this thing.
Nope.
At least not by that much. They will trade it so that they can make more. But most of these people, they want to hold it and as the value continues to rise.
So that's going to do it for us today, boys. Thanks for tuning in to the Tokyo Crypto Show, episode 23, with the Michael Jordan of crypto, Charlie from Cultivate Crypto. be sure to check us out on the webinars for Body Language Mastery. Today's the last day. The webinars will be happening. So we got one in the morning, one at night. Charlie, you coming in?
I'll come in tonight. Yeah,
Good
sure.
stuff.
Well, it's their morning, our night.
Well, yeah. That's definitely. Buy Bitcoin, motherfuckers. I mean, but this is not financial advice. Stay poor. Do whatever you got to do. I'm going to wait till I fucking get a big old gold Bitcoin fucking emblem
badass.
right here. That'll be pretty badass, right? Embed some Bitcoin in it. No, that somebody will steal it. Then I'll be fucked.
Well, yeah.
That's going to do it, guys. So listen, thank you guys for checking us out. Go to cultivatecrypto.com, book a consultation. This is a valuable skill. And you're going to miss out if you don't take action now. And Rich said right at the end of the episode, right before he left, he said, hey, get in now. Take action. Webinar is going to be happening literally 5 minutes. I'm going to sit down, grab something to drink, and then we're going. And I'm going to bed. Get in. Last day for the webinars for all your body language mastery. Q1, Q2, guys, you're both are invited in. We're going to finish off strong. So until then, I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.